Hey, how's it going? This is Justin Gilman with Quantum Leads, and today I'll be walking through your digital marketing attack plan to show you how you can turn your website into a lead generation machine and really generate some revenue for your business month over month. Now, if you take a look at the top here, we're looking at AC Repair in Houston, which generates 1,600 searches a month. And now, obviously, there's a lot more searches out there when you take into account search terms like AC installation, AC repair near me. So, like I said, there's a lot more volume out there, but for the sake of time in this video, we're just going to be focusing on this one search term. So let's show you how you can turn those 1,600 searches into revenue for your business by starting with your website. So here we are on your homepage, and scrolling down your homepage, I think that there's a lot of great things about it. However, from an SEO perspective, there's a lot more things that we can improve to really make sure that customers are finding our business online. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is internal search engine optimization, which is essentially all the different ways that we can improve your website from within the website itself. Now, normally you're going to hear things like title tags, heading tags, local business schema, and while those are all great for your website, for the sake of time in this video, we're going to be focusing on the two most important aspects, which are content and keywords. Now, let's talk about content first. I notice you have a lot of content on your website already, so we won't touch on this too much, but the reason content is so important is that it gives users something to engage with. When a user has something to engage with, they tend to have a better user experience and are more likely to come back to your website in the future or use Google for future searches. So it really makes sense as to why Google would promote a website that is very content full because it's ultimately a win-win situation for them. However, I like to recommend about 750 to 1,000 words on any given page. Obviously, you have more on this page if we scroll down, but like I said, 750 to 1,000 words is the bare minimum that I recommend. That way, you have a very content-full website, but you don't sacrifice that visual aesthetic. I know some people think too much content can be a little intimidating, so like I said, 750 to 1,000 is the bare minimum on each page. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, Justin, why don't I just have a website that has 5,000 words on it and call it a day? And while that sounds like a good idea, the reason it doesn't work is because we have to make sure that our content remains relevant. And the way we do that is with our keywords. Keywords are the most used words or phrases on a web page, and based on these keywords, Google is going to determine information about your business. So let's take a look at your keywords and see if they answer some integral questions for Google. Normally, I like to tell people that the three main questions we want to answer are number one, what do we do? Number two, where do we do it? And number three, who are we? So, like I said, let's take a look at your keywords. So here we are in the tool I use called Keywords Everywhere. And if we scroll down here, you're going to notice your most used keywords. I'm only going to focus on the first six here. However, feel free to expand even further. I always recommend that you do so. But for the sake of time, like I said, we're going to focus in on the first six. So number one, I always recommend an industry-specific search term. So air is perfect. You're going to see that that's a very popular term, so that's correct. But number two, I always recommend some sort of modifier to the first keyword. So in this case, if air was number one, we'd probably want something like repair or installation at number two. Or, in your case, since you do more residential jobs, or if you're not looking for commercial jobs, then you could put something like home in there. But if you are open to commercial work, I would put repair or installation at number two. Then number three and four, we want our city and our state. We want our location-based keywords in there because that's going to tell Google exactly where we do business, and it's going to ultimately help them drive local traffic. Now, you do have Texas here. However, I always recommend kind of niching down. We want to make sure that we get our cities in there because Texas has a pretty wide range of cities in different places. So we do want a city in there or maybe multiple cities depending on how many cities we service. So number three, I would recommend your city. Number four, I'd recommend your state. Then lastly, our five and sixth keyword, we want our brand in there. The reason we want our brand in there is because, yes, people will find our business by looking for things like AC repair in Houston. However, not all searches are going to be that. Some people are going to look directly for our business name. So we want to make sure that we have our brand in there somewhere so we can make sure that we appear for those searches. So just a quick recap. One and two, industry specific keywords. Three and four, location based keywords. And five and six, we want our branding based keywords. Now let's take a look at one of your competitors and see what they're doing as far as content and keywords go. So here we have AirTech of Houston, and they rank on the first page organically for AC repair in the Houston area. In fact, they are the number one search result. And if you take a look at their website, they have a ton of content on this page. In fact, almost 9/10 of it is content until you get to the bottom here and you get to the footer. So, like I said, you really see that they're benefiting from having a content-full site. But like I said, you can't rank number one just with content. You need to make sure it's relevant. So let's take a look at their keywords. So here we are back in keywords everywhere, and if we scroll down, you're going to notice their most used keywords. Like I said, air at number one makes sense, very industry specific. And then they went immediately to that location-based keyword, specifically the city. Like I said, the state is good, but it's pretty broad. We want to niche down and get our cities in there and then our state. So you see how important having that in there is, because they are driving a lot of local traffic. Then it starts to vary a little bit off the suggestions that I gave you. However, always feel free to use this list along with the suggestions I gave you to create the strongest keywords list possible. Now let's go back to your website and talk about external SEO and how it ties into everything. Now we're talking about external search engine optimization, or in this case, we'll be talking about backlinking. Very simple at face value, just a link from one website to another. However, from an SEO perspective, there's a lot more going on, because when a website links to another, you're essentially saying that you trust the information that is coming from that site, or that you trust the business that that website represents. So very important that we get backlinks from quality sources. That way we can tell Google that we are a trustworthy business. So like I said, really focusing on the quality of our links, because just like if we can get a good link and tell Google that we're a trustworthy business, we can also tell Google that we are a harmful or spammy business by getting harmful or spammy links. Now, a good example of this would be somebody goes on Fiverr, they buy $50 worth of backlinks, they get 10,000 backlinks, and their site immediately crashes 50 positions. Now, it doesn't happen that quickly. However, it does happen pretty fast, and that's no mistake, because ultimately that's 10,000 sources telling Google that you are a trust or a non-trustworthy source. So definitely something to think about. We want to focus on the quality of our backlinks, but let's take a look at your current backlink structure using a tool I have called Ahrefs. So here we are on a tool I like to use called Ahrefs, and as you'll see here, your website has a 34 UR, a 12 DR, generates about 208 organic users every single month, and has a traffic value of about $10,000. Now, that's really great, but let's talk about what these metrics mean. So UR stands for URL rating, and what that is the individual power that goes to a single page. So in this case, we're talking about your homepage, whereas DR stands for domain rating, and what that is the power that goes through your entire website. So not just your homepage, but all your service pages, your About Us page, every single page is summarized in DR. Now, we want the strongest of both of those metrics along with a strong internal SEO structure to get the best ranking strategy possible. But let's talk about traffic value for a second. Traffic value is a stat that is measured by the buyer intent of each user based on the keyword that they come from. So, to give you an example, somebody who looks up ACs doesn't carry as much traffic value as somebody looking for AC repair or AC installation. And the reason that is that ACs, or somebody looking for ACs, might be looking for a picture of an AC unit, maybe a blog article about ACs. You don't know what they're looking for. Whereas somebody looking for AC repair, 9 times out of 10 is looking for a direct service to buy. So they will carry a lot more traffic value or buyer intent. So just kind of a briefing on these metrics, but let's take a look at some of your competitors and see what they're doing as far as these external metrics go. So here we have AirTex of Houston with a 33 UR, a 38 DR. They generate about 4,000 users every single month and have about $103,000 worth of traffic value. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, well, my site has very similar metrics, or, we have a stronger UR. And while that's true, you'll need to adjust your targeting. So this is an example of having a strong internal SEO along with your external SEO to get the best results possible. Clearly, you do have some strong externals. However, like I said, your internals could use a lot more work. So definitely a good example here. I also have another competitor for you to look at, which is Abacus Plumbing. They have a 26 UR, a 46 DR, generate about 714 users per month, and have about $30,000 worth of traffic value. So a clear correlation between a strong SEO structure and the amount of value that you can get for your business. So let's take a look back at the Google search engine results page and look at the Google Map Pack for a second. So here we are at the Google search engine results page. And if we scroll down, what we've been talking about is down here in the organic search results. But if we go back up to the top here, we have this Google Map Pack. Now, this is very important because it gives a second place for your business to win on Google. You can win down below in the organic search results, or you can win up here in the Map Pack. And if you can do both, you guarantee that 1,600 people see your business first before looking at another competitor. So, like I said, a lot of value here. So let's talk about how do you get into the Map Pack. So to get in, you'll first have to verify your business via postcard, which is 100% free to do. And to rank in the Map Pack, you'll have to adhere to the different factors that Google is looking for. So number one, what they look for is that you filled out their form to 100%. The reason I say 100% is because the more information you give them, the more reputable your business looks. Number two, they look for a strong organic rank, which is why SEO is so important, because not only does it affect down below, but it also affects up here in the Map Pack. And then number three, they're looking for citations. Now, citations are all the different places your business's name address, and phone number are listed online. Some popular citations are things like Yelp, Facebook, Yellow Pages, Yellow Book. All those are different citations you can give for your business, and they all help with your Google My Business profile. So let's take a look at how many citations each of these companies has. So here we have Richmond's Air with 15 citations, ASAP Air with 59, and H-Town AC with 25. So a decent amount of citations. Normally, I recommend that you double the biggest amount in there. So if there's 59, we're going to want 118 citations to really go in there and start outranking them, along with the other factors such as our internal and external SEO, to really make everything come together. Now, that's all I really have for you in this video. And if you follow the steps, you should start to see some traffic improvement along your site, and it should start to generate you more leads. But once again, my name is Justin Gilman with Quantum Leads. I'd love to set up a meeting with you to discuss any questions you have about this video, or maybe anything not pictured in this video. So feel free to click the button in our email and schedule a meeting with us. We'd love to hear from you. Once again, I hope this was educational, and thanks for watching.